You're listening to The Drew Yari Show.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the show. If my voice sounds weird, if I sound like I'm in a cave, I've decided to, I guess, try something different. No regular microphone, no headset. I mean, I have the fan off because it's already cold as balls here in San Antonio. Well, not cold as balls, but just cold. So I don't need a fan on, so there's no noise in the back. So we're going to see how this episode turns out. So I guess we can start with like the biggest news story of the week as far as like wrestling goes. Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy was released on, I believe it was Thursday. Over the weekend, he was in a tag match on a house show, which I believe was Saturday. It was a 6-man tag with him, Xavier Woods, or King Woods, or should I say, King Woods and Drew McIntyre versus the Bloodline, Roman Reigns and the Usos. It said that, Jeff was working most of the match, and when he made the hot tag to Drew McIntyre, he rolled out of the ring and left. Just left. He didn't, come back to celebrate with, his teammates. He just left. The very next night, they were in Corpus, and the company decided to just send him home. So, naturally, and I hate that I'm saying that, but naturally, given with Jeff's past, we all just assume the worst, and we don't want to. And, guys like Kevin Castle and Mish, shouts to those guys, they made good points, that maybe Jeff just wasn't feeling well. It's possible that, he wasn't feeling well. He did have COVID once upon a time. Maybe he has it again. Who knows? I mean, maybe he left to just go take a shit. I mean, those were kind of the safer options. And, I say safer compared to what's usually in the past of Jeff Hardy. You know what I mean? So then on Thursday, the announcement was made, via Sean Ross Sapp from, I forget what the fuck he's from. Oh, who cares? He made the announcement that Jeff Hardy was released. And, yep, he's released. This is actually the second time in the company's history that Jeff Hardy has been released. Back in 2003, I know he was released. And already, Fightful.com, there you go. I already have the page open, what the fuck? And then Sean Ross reported, I've heard WWE offered Jeff Hardy help in rehab. It was not accepted. Here's to hoping things get better for him. Let's see. Matt Hardy addressed his brother's condition during a Twitch stream. And I quote, "I did speak to Jeff a little bit today, and he's okay. He's good. I think he'll be fine. But once again, this isn't my business. And if he wants to go into more detail, then he'll do it himself. But Jeff is okay. He is at home, and he's okay." He posted a picture of him and Jeff. Let's see, I had some other news. Jeff's wife, Beth, she had posted something pretty much saying we're good. Jeff's home, we're good, he's good. And just tell him you heard that. And she made sure to put, quotations around heard. Sean Waltman posted something that was pretty interesting. I'm recording. Sean Waltman posted, "Not every relapse is a reason to do inpatient rehab. My best recovery came many years after I did my 3rd stint in rehab and had totally relapsed again. I came out of it on my own with the help of evidence-based treatments and a hypnotherapist. While I'm grateful for them, the rehab industry is also a huge racket, And he posted a picture in support of Jeff Hardy when Jeff Hardy was before the rainbow-colored hair and the face paint. And then Beth also retweeted that in support of it. So, I obviously don't know Jeff's situation. We don't. My whole thing is, I want to wait until I hear from his mouth and not just assume shit. And we're more than likely not going to hear that story until March, which is when his 90-day clause is supposed to come up. And the whole talk about, go to AEW, it's just like, the best place for Jeff Hardy is to stay home. Stay home with his wife and kids, get better. I mean, I know Matt already teased, there's going to be an extreme reunion in the future. So, I mean, would it surprise me if Jeff Hardy went to AEW? I mean, not really. I mean, because he left WWE before and went to TNA twice. I mean, if we're forgetting, when he got released in 2003, he went to TNA. This is when TNA was just, barely starting, when they were still known as, TNA and WA. And then his contract expired, went to TNA again. So, I mean, is he going to go to AEW? Not that shocking, but I think Jeff should just focus not really on wrestling and just focus on trying to get better with whatever it is wrong with him. Because I want Jeff to get better. I'm a Jeff fan. I like Jeff. I've always been a Jeff Hardy fan since I was a kid. I was a Hardy Boys fan growing up. That was the only time I ever was really able to enjoy Matt, was when it was just him and Jeff. Matt alone, not a fan of. But, I mean, that's another story you guys already know about. You never want to hear this. Jeff is, 44. He's got 2 kids. He's married. And you want to hope it's nothing big. For him to refuse rehab, maybe this is something he knows he can fix on his own. Maybe working that WWE schedule isn't what's best for him right now at the age of 44 and still going out there and taking these just ridiculous stunts that for some reason he thinks he has to take. And I don't know if I've said this before. I'm at the point, watching Jeff Hardy matches where I wince seeing him trying to do these stunts. They're fun to watch, his younger years. Now that he's 44 and I know he's banged up, I see him do those and I just go, oh, Jeff. Don't do that, please. I think there's a spot he did. This is against Nakamura. And he's going for a swanton on the apron. And he falls and hits his back, and I just went, ooh. Maybe you shouldn't have done that, Jeff. I don't know who's in the back telling Jeff, you don't need to do any of these stunts. You really don't. At this point, I never want to see Jeff in a ladder match. I mean, you want to do a swanton? Fine. Just don't do any more stupid stunts. And that's my worry if he goes to AEW, because he feels he's going to have to keep up with a lot of the younger talent. You know what I mean? Because, I think Matt Hardy did a stunt a while ago, and I just said straight up, I don't want to see Matt Hardy do stunts. I don't want to see Matt Hardy do that kind of shit at his age. I mean, I don't want to see Edge do it. I don't want to see Christian do it. Just no. I don't need to see Jeff do it. So, but he's going to AEW is more than likely going to happen. He's probably going to come out double or nothing. I don't know, but I don't want to think about that. I just want to think about Jeff doing okay. You got an outpouring of love from pretty much everybody, either that is on the main roster or that's gone. I know Killer Cross. So I'm trying to get comfortable. I know Killer Cross, showed him some love, saying, Jeff's a good dude. Working with Jeff was a career highlight for me. I was actually looking forward to that feud, whenever it looked like it was going to happen. But then, unfortunately, Jeff got COVID, and that kind of ruined things. But that was a feud. I'm like, that could have been something. That could have been a really interesting feud. That could have made Cross look like a star. But it's nice seeing the outpouring of love from everybody on the main roster, everybody in other companies, showing their love for Jeff. So, if Jeff Hardy's out there, I mean, I doubt he listens to the show, but, I want him to get better. So, personally, I think he needs to just focus on staying at home and getting better. And being a good dad to his kids and being a good husband. That's really all I want for Jeff. Whatever he does in the future, career-wise, it's not up to me, unfortunately. It's up to him. It's up to him what he wants to do. If he wants to call it a day on wrestling and focus on like his music, his art, maybe be an actor. I don't know what he wants to do. But something that is a little bit less stressful on his body. That would be a much better choice. So, that's my thoughts on Jeff Hardy. Again, hope he gets better. Speaking of health, oh, come on. So, Chris Jericho, let's see, was this last Friday? Last Friday, Chris Jericho had a concert in Swansea. It was canceled. He was hospitalized for a non-COVID related treatable issue. Jericho said the following to 4FWonline.com regarding the matter. I'm feeling good. They wanted to just observe me overnight, and I'm in the right place, not COVID related. Tour has been amazing, 100% sold out crowds, and sold out and crowds have absolutely been nuts. And then Fozzy's official statement announced that Saturday's concert in Nottingham has also been canceled. We are very sorry, but due to circumstances beyond our control, Fozzy will not be able to perform in Nottingham tomorrow. We promise to return as soon as possible. And I know Jeff also, not Jeff, whatchamacallit, Jericho posted something on his Twitter and going out on the street, so, Jericho's alright. I give Jericho a lot of shit for his character in the ring and what he does on television. I obviously don't want him to get COVID or to die or anything. I'm a lot of things, but I'm not a monster. So, good that Jericho's all right. Whatever that was, it wasn't COVID, so it's good that he's all right. You never want to hear about anyone getting anything bad that could possibly be fatal or even cost them their career. So, but I know Jericho said before, at this point, with the roster that's so stacked, I can sneak away on my tour and nobody would notice. He's kind of right, but also I don't think anyone would care. But I know I said I don't want anything bad to happen to Jericho, but at the same token, I kind of want to be honest. It's kind of good when Jericho's not on TV, whether he's wrestling or doing commentary, yelling at everybody. So, it's good that he's on tour. So now he's not on television, and we don't have to suffer through that. So there we go. And he also apparently applied for a trademark for the Painmaker gimmick, which is funny because it looks like he's in pain every time he tries to move. I'm just going off on Jericho. I had to do a compliment sandwich. I had to say something nice to him, and I had to say something bad about him. So I just gotta be honest. So the week in wrestling. What up on Raw? Anything up on Raw? I don't really think Raw was. I watched the beginning. It was the steel cage match with Big E and Kevin Owens. If you hear yelling, it's my girlfriend yelling at the cats, so bear with us. I thought it was a good match. Big E and Kevin Owens, they seem to work well together. Big E is more of the power guy. Kevin Owens is the wrestler. A little bit of a scrapper, so he usually has success in that area. His matches with Roman always seem to gel well together. And, the triple threat match is now more than likely going to be a fatal four-way. You got to give credit to Mr. Jeff Lippman. He kind of called that. Bobby Lashley came out and attacked all three guys, so why not add Bobby Lashley in the mix? I mean, all those guys have one thing in common. They've all been screwed over by Big E somehow. Kevin Owens feels that Big E didn't accept his apology. Seth Rollins has originally it was just going to be a singles match against Big E, but then more guys got added, and Bobby Lashley got his title taken away from Big E. So it makes for an interesting match, day one, first day of the new year. Should be. It looks like it's an interesting card. I don't know how many more matches they're going to announce, but that's something we'll definitely go over. And as far as Big E goes, Big E is the champion. I don't want to poo-poo over his title reign. I really don't, because I like Big E. But Big E, to me, is the Intercontinental Champion, or the U.S. Champion. He's not a World Champion, because there's something missing about him. I don't know what it is. I can't even really put my finger on what it is, but he just isn't World Championship material, and I gotta be one of those people. The ratings kind of prove it. Ever since he's been champion, the ratings have not been great. I mean, hold on. I need to pull up. When did Big E win the WWE title? Hold on. I think it was like a few months ago. Let me just type that in real quick. September 27th. Okay. Let me go back to this. So let's go back to September 27th. So September 27th, so that was 2 months. It's about to be 3 months. So the rating, the first Raw with him as champion drew a 1.8. After that, the ratings dipped a little bit, and they've continued to dip, and they've been in 1.5s, 1.6s. This recent Raw drew a 1.599, and that is bad. That is BAD bad. It's for Raw, which is supposed to be the flagship show, and this seems like a running gag. Raw is just bad, and they can make the excuses all they want, that Raw is going up against Monday Night Football or what have you. Some of those could be valid arguments, but Raw is just bad. It sucks. The talent's there. It just sucks. I mean, I want to give Big E maybe one more month. But so far, I think he needs to drop that title. I mean, I would say give it back to Lashley, because let's go back to ratings. Bobby Lashley won it in March? And I'm looking at the ratings right now, 1.8s, 2.0s, 1.7, 1.6s. I mean, those aren't bad. I mean, those are a lot better than Big E's. Granted, I don't really think there were a lot of sports going on at the moment, but a lot better than Big E's. And also, when Bobby Lashley was the WWE champion and, Roman was, or still is, the Universal champion, that's the one thing you can hang your hat on, is that, Raw and SmackDown had dominant champions with great mouthpieces, Paul Heyman and MVP. So, I personally think they should, it's just an opinion. Big E needs to drop that title, because he's not a very good champion. He's not a very good drawing champion. The ratings are bad. Put the title back on Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley is a much better champion. He's a much better, believable champion. He looks like a champion. Now they got MVP back. Now they got the Hurt Business back, kind of, sort of, maybe. It's a much better choice. I mean, don't put it on Seth, definitely, because Seth is one of the lowest drawing champions of all time. I think he's behind JBL, if I'm not mistaken. Don't put it on Kevin Owens. I mean, I like Kevin Owens, but I mean, let's just be real. Kevin Owens is gone. By January, he's gone. Him and Sami Zayn both. And we'll talk about Sami Zayn in a bit. Give it back to Lashley. Just give it back to Bobby. That's just my opinion. What else happened on Raw? You had Donovan Dijakovic, who's I guess still T-Bag or T-Bar or whatever. You know, getting a singles push going up against Finn, which, I mean, it's good to see him getting a push. And, you know, for people complaining, why not just call him Donovan Dijakovic? I like Donovan Dijakovic in NXT. I liked his matches against Keith Lee, who didn't, but let's just be real. Donovan Dijakovic was, outside of his talent, he was a giant bag of bleh. No personality whatsoever. So, that's a guy who needs a gimmick. That's a guy who needs a mouthpiece. You know what I mean? So, him being T-Bar, I mean, they probably could have found a better gimmick, but, you know, whatever. It's good to see him getting TV time, because we need more big men out there. I mean, because Keith's gone, you know, Cross is gone, so they need to do something with Dijakovic. So, he had a match against Finn. Of course, Finn won over. I mean, no problem. No qualms against that, because I like Finn. Finn is believable as a smaller guy. I've said this before. After the match, Austin Theory came out and attacked Finn. So now we're getting an Austin Theory and Finn feud, which I'm all for, because I like Austin Theory. I like I like the gimmick so far. You know, the annoying millennial gimmick who has to take selfies every 5 minutes. And the guy can work. He has personality up the wazoo. I mean, I've done a 180 on completely. And Vince clearly sees something in him, because Vince is taking this kid from NXT and, you know, having him sit next to him. And, you know, come on, kid. Egg. I'm not going to do that. I promise you I'm not going to do too many Vince impressions. But it's good to see Austin Theory, you know, a young thoroughbred. I mean, the guy, since being on the main roster, it was in a big, high-profile match on Survivor Series and was one of the last remaining participants left on Team Raw. And then the very next night, he gets a world title shot against Big E on the main event of Raw, and he did pretty good. So, I mean, good for us in theory. I mean, we can only assume what the future holds for him, which I'm hoping it's good things, because he's very talented. I'm trying to think of something else that happened on Raw. Main event, which was hyped up for weeks. So the main event was, and this was in Nashville. I believe it was in Nashville or Memphis. I know it was in Tennessee. So the match was, you know, for the Raw Women's Championship, Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan. I like Liv Morgan. I mean, I've been singing her praises. I think she's very good. I think she continues to improve anytime I see her. My only worry was that they've continued to stop. They give her these stop and start pushes, because she was already going into Survivor Series as a number one contender. Why not let her be a sole survivor? Or just have her fucking win? Especially since they're in New York. I mean, she's from Long Island, I think. But I'm not going to offend any New York viewers with that comparison, but she should have won it, and she ends up getting eliminated in like the middle of the match. And Bianca is the sole survivor, and Bianca's in a feud with fucking Doudrop. I mean, I don't have anything against Doudrop. I think she's good, but it's just like that's kind of a nothing feud at this moment. But, you know, that's just my opinion. So, Liv really brought it. She brought her A game. Everything she had, she brought it, and she did a great job against Becky. And Becky, you know, to her credit, I mean, I shouldn't even say to her credit, because Becky is still damn good. She made Liv look like $1 million. And I knew she wasn't going to win, because if you're going to have Liv win, it has to be on a bigger stage. So I was fine with the ending, because it was, you know, reminiscent of Survivor Series that, you know, Becky had to cheat to win, because she knew that she was having a hard time with Liv Morgan. And again, that's not a detriment of Liv Morgan, but that's kind of in the eye of the viewers. It's like, okay, I get why you had to cheat against Charlotte, but why against Liv Morgan? So that creates some, long-term storytelling of, was Liv really that good? Liv really took Becky to the limit, big time Bex. So now that we're coming up in the new year, this is the perfect opportunity for Liv to continue that feud. Have her win the Women's Royal Rumble. Have her challenge Becky at I was going to say Survivor Series, at WrestleMania in Dallas, and have Liv get her big WrestleMania moment. Like, it writes itself. It fucking writes itself. Or you can do Liv is the last person remaining, and it's her and whoever in the Rumble, and she gets eliminated, but she gets one more shot at Elimination Chamber. And she ends up winning and gets a shot at Becky at WrestleMania. So, either way, all roads lead to Becky versus Liv. And, according to Shane Hurricane Helms, gorilla position was a standing room only. It was sold out. And because people were really invested in that match. People were really happy to see Liv get a shot, in the main event. So, good for Liv. I'm proud of her. It's weird because, this is not a detriment to her. I know I just complimented her, but when you looked at the Riot Squad, out of that whole group, we all assumed, maybe I did, but it was going to be her, or it was just going to be Ruby that was going to be the star. Because we knew damn well Sarah, what the fuck is her name? Sarah Logan was not going to be a star. Sarah Logan was just god-awful. She was terrible. And Liv was, she was cute. She had blonde hair, so she was going to have a job. Which is the opposite. Ruby's gone. She's in AEW. And Liv is, again, has vastly improved. She's gotten so much better in the ring. And I've always said that about Liv for a while, that, when you watch Liv wrestle, it at least looks like she's trying. And not just going out there and saying, well, I'm pretty, so that's why I'm here. A la Alexa Bliss, who, she's a character. And she's even said straight up, I'm an actress. Alexa has never improved in the ring, ever. Liv has improved in the ring. So, I'm happy for Liv. I think she's had a big year, and I can't wait to see what the year brings her. So hopefully it leads to WrestleMania. So good for Liv. That's a match of the year candidate, for next year's show. And I'm already taking down match of the year candidates. I just put up the polls for match of the year. So basically anything that happens after December, the 1st, is already a match of the year candidate for next year's show. So that's already a match of the year candidate. Mark down, people. Let's see. Yeah, but yeah, that was Raw. Yeah, the main event was very good. So go ahead and watch it. Smackdown I didn't watch. Heard kind of so things about it. I did see the Brock and Sami Zayn skit, so I never knew Brock could actually be funny. Like, Brock is actually funny. When Brock is just himself, which he seems like he has good comedic timing, and I think Brock's area of expertise is being cynical and being kind of a smartass. So he's oh shit, are you kidding me? Okay. So, Brock's area of expertise is that he's a smartass. And he's this kind of cynical jerk. And then Sami Zayn, is coming out selling the quote-unquote injury, even though all he did was just get F5'd F5 multiple times and suplex multiple times. So, Sami saying there's a conspiracy against me, cost me my title, and Brock just comes out. And he's like, did you really think you had a chance to beat Roman? I did you a favor. We're both Canadians, and then he starts speaking bad, bad Montreal. So, and, they're going hunting. They're going to go hunting, apparently. And then, Paul has that line. He's like, I was just at the dispensary and my edibles are kicking in. What the hell's going on? Brock, you used to be a beast. And now all of a sudden you're playing buddy-buddy with Sami Zayn. And then Brock does what he does. He destroys everybody in the ring, the two male nurses, and, Sami Zayn. So he walks to the back, and Kayla Braxton asks him, what happened out there, and he says, you might want to ask my advocate, or not my advocate, but his advocate, Paul Heyman. So now that builds up suspension and not disbelief, but that builds up some good drama for day one against Roman, the rematch, which we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to a lot more than Roman and Brock's matches in the past, because Roman is the best thing going in the company, and Brock is Brock. Brock's always going to be a star. He's always going to be over. And I like this Brock. I like Brock, who just looks like he's having fun. He's not giving a fuck. So, was it Toni Storm and Charlotte Flair had a match? If Toni Storm won, she would get a number one contender match. I didn't watch it. I heard mixed reviews about it, so I need to go back and watch it. So now Toni Storm is in the mix for the title. So good for her. What was the main event? The main event was I need to go back and watch Smackdown. I feel bad for not watching. I feel like an idiot talking about Smackdown right now, because I only saw that one clip. I didn't see the rest of the show, but I need to go back and watch it. So, and the ratings right now: SmackDown 2.1, 2.172, which is up from last week, and it's actually the highest rating that SmackDown has had since. Let me look it up. I have the list right here. 2.172. The highest rating they have had since September 10th, if you can believe that. So good for SmackDown. Let's see, NXT this week. I watched NXT for the first time in a long time. I've been rather critical of NXT. The new NXT 2.0. And it's, I guess it's more superficial, because NXT from back then, was NXT. It was enjoyable. It was far superior than the roster. Now it just feels like another WWE show. Like when you watched NXT, it felt like you were watching a wrestling show. It felt like you were watching something different. It felt like you were watching maybe like an independent movie. Now it just feels like you're watching another WWE show. And I know what they're trying to do with NXT. They want to make it like they want to go back to a different formula. They want to go back to that OVW formula of let's take homegrown stars. Let's not rely on guys from the indies to make this brand, because the reason why they were able to get away with that, because there wasn't an AEW. And now that there is an AEW, guys from the indies are going to AEW, or they're going to Japan. So WWE wants to rely more on let's create stars. What's his name? Carmelo Hayes. He's an indie guy, but he's not really like somebody that's on the level of a known indie guy. He's more of like a local Boston guy. I know Joey Numbers knows him pretty well, so we'll talk about him in a bit. So, but yeah, I like the guys on NXT. I give them a chance, and I wanted to watch it because I wanted to give it a chance. So it opened with Braun Breaker, Steiner, coming out, and again, the guy's money. The guy's a star. Like he's way too big for that brand, because he talks like a star, he looks like a star. I mean, the guy was raised by two legends in the business, and that's a guy that should be in the main event of WrestleMania already, so, which probably isn't going to happen anytime soon. But he comes out, cuts a pretty nice promo, saying, NXT Black and Gold, they're tough as nails, and they really beat our ass, but, we won, came out on top. And now I want Tommaso Ciampa for the title, and then Malcolm Givens comes out and tries to, I guess, give him a proposition or whatever, and then was it Braun Cosmo says, you got about 2 seconds just to the point where I throw your ass into the sands. And then the Creed brothers try to go after him, and then Braun just kind of goes, hey, come on, let's go. So, yeah, he's definitely a Steiner. Malcolm just says, no, I got a proposition. I know you like competition, so next week, I propose you versus Roderick Strong. now that, Roderick Strong, beat Joe Gacy, the ban on the not the 205 Live, but the Cruiserweight title has been lifted, so he can defend against anyone, so he doesn't just have to wrestle Cruiserweight guys, he can wrestle anybody else. So next week it's Roderick Strong and Braun Breaker, which, that should be a good match, because, I've given Roderick Strong a lot of shit in the past, for being, as exciting as, day-old oatmeal, but he can work. Roddy can work. So if anyone can bring out a good match in Braun, that's going to be a good match. So, Carmelo Hayes had a match against Dexter Lumis, and, selling the fact that he was hurt. I got to give Carmelo Hayes praise. I've given the guy a lot of shit. I think he's very good. He's done a 180 on me. I've done a 180 on Carmelo Hayes. He is very good in the ring. The guy is money. He can talk and he can work. And he looks like a star. Can he be a world champion? Maybe. Maybe he could. Maybe he can't. But, his glass ceiling looks more like Intercontinental Champion, personally, man. Which there's no shame in that. So, Carmelo Hayes is money. Let's see. Toxic Attraction came out. They got a promo. Cora Jade came out selling her, injury, quote unquote. And, she goes in the ring as Toxic Attraction. Then Raquel comes out with a steel chair and just, makes everyone leave the ring, which I think is funny. Why does Raquel need a steel chair? Shouldn't her whole thing be like, I don't need a weapon, I am a weapon? I don't know, but so Cora Jade, I'm not sold on just yet. I think she's talented. She's very young. I think she started when she was 17. So I can see where the appeal is, because she looks like AJ Lee a little bit. She maybe could be what they wanted Paige to be, in other areas, but but she's a cute girl. She has talent. She just needs more room to grow, get a little better on the microphone, personally, because when she was talking, it was just like, this seems like I'm watching a high school play or a TikTok video. I don't know, but yeah, she's good. She needs to get better a little bit. She needs to improve a little bit. So I don't know what they're going to do with her. They obviously like her and see something in her to where they want to, give her. They gave her that big spot at War Games, and they allowed her to beat Mandy Rose in a match and then get the win for her team. So they obviously like her. So what do I know? And then vignettes. Tiffany Stratton, the new daddy's girl, who, seen pictures of her, she is a good-looking woman. A good-looking woman. She is yoked. She is fucking yoked. Maybe not China yoked or Raquel yoked, but she is she doesn't look like some dainty little flower. Like they knew what to do with this girl. And, who knows? Who knows what she can do? So, I'm interested to see what she can do. Sorry about that. My cats are fighting outside. Yeah, Tiffany Stratton. Let's see what she can do. And let's see what else happened on the show that's of any importance. Oh yeah, the show began with Von Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly. Steel cage match. Von won over, as I guess he should have. And Kyle's gone. That was Kyle's last match. Get to that in a bit. But yeah, Kyle's gone. Last match on NXT. And to close out the show, we got Johnny Gargano coming out and giving his farewell to NXT. He said at the beginning, Sean said I can go as long as I want. And just talks about, how he grew in NXT. He's been there for 6 years, which is insane to think about. Talked about how, I believe he said in March, February and March. What the fuck? I think he said in March is when when Candice is due. So that's going to happen. And good for Johnny. I'm not gonna sit here and be fake. I've not been a fan of Johnny for a while. I'm not the biggest fan. I'm not the biggest Johnny Gargano fan. I think he's talented. I've liked him in this role with The Way because it showcased that he actually can be snarky and kind of a dick. This little snarky, arrogant dick. So I've enjoyed him in this role. I like him in this role. And so, is he going to go to AEW? I don't know. I don't think he would work out in AEW personally because there's already too much talent on that show. Like, what is he going to do? Who is he going to wrestle? I mean, personally, and we'll just get to the end of the segment so I can make my point. So, the end of the segment, Grayson Waller comes on and attacks Johnny Gargano because he wanted to make a statement. You know, because he was going on a date with some girl, and then LA Knight took her. And, you know, he says, you know, well, I got to make a statement, you know, for reviews and downloads or whatever. So he attacks Johnny Gargano and then beats the shit out of him and powerbombs him through the table. It gets good heel heat. So I'm not a fan of this Grayson Waller guy. I don't really know much about his past. But, again, they clearly see something in him that I don't. And that was a good way to put over young talent, is to take out you know, one of their beloved wrestlers. So that's a good way for him to get heel heat. So I think Johnny Gargano can come back. I think he will come back to NXT because that attack leaves the door open for him to come back. And I know it was reported that him and Kyle O'Reilly were officially free agents as of Friday. So Kyle O'Reilly, I think, is going to go to AEW so he can reunite with, you know, Cole and Fish. Gargano, I don't see him going to AEW because there's really no room for him in AEW. There really isn't. Like, who's he going to feud with? He's just going to be put on the back burner. He's going to end up on fucking Rampage. You know, wrestling Hook. Which, we'll talk about Hook in a bit. So, I just don't see him in AEW personally. I don't. I know the popular response to everything is, you know, so and so is leaving. ... AEW bound. It's just not everybody has to go to AEW. I mean, maybe Gargano wants to go elsewhere. Maybe he wants to go to. I mean, because he already has his Pro Wrestling Tees store up. Maybe he wants to go to maybe GCW. Maybe he wants to go to Japan. And he just started his Twitch, so fuck. Yeah, if he's going to start his Twitch, I don't know if he's going to go back to the company. But I don't know what Johnny Gargano's going to do. Maybe he's going to take time off to be a dad, because he has been on television for 6 years. He has been overused, and that's kind of where the resentment for a lot of fans is that the guy has been overused. Because there is no chance in how he's going to be on the main roster. I mean, were we supposed to believe that Johnny Gargano is going to look serious against Roman Reigns? No. So, kind of like I said with Jeff, Johnny Gargano should consider maybe, you know, taking some much needed time off and just focus on being a dad before he even thinks about signing anywhere else. So, maybe he could come back. I mean, people leave and they can still come back. So, but, you know, good on Johnny Gargano. You know, good luck on fatherhood. And same thing with Ken Sorry. Good luck on motherhood. Not good for these ratings, though. NXT drew a 590. Yeesh. That is low from last week when they had 637. That is their lowest rating since November 16th. So, yikes. AEW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite, people. Again, didn't really watch the show, didn't really have an interest. I did, however, catch the CM Punk promo, that god-awful CM Punk promo in Long Island, where I think Punk looked like he was phased by the crowd. It looked like he got flustered because I'm not even going to bother playing it like I did with the other promo, but case in point, they're in Long Island, which is the hometown of MJF, and MJF's music hits, and the crowd goes wild because they think it's MJF, and then out comes CM Punk, which I'm like, okay, that was interesting because I know that, the joke, that MJF told about Punk is that Punk is always happy to be anywhere he's at. So CM Punk decided to come out and not be happy that he's in Long Island, because he's a Chicago guy. That's a heel promo. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Because the crowd is going to cheer MJF regardless. And MJF is going to be the hero in Long Island. He's going to be the villain everywhere else. So CM Punk proceeds to cut a really long promo where he's not only trashing MJF, but he's trashing the New York Islanders. Or the Long Island Islander. Whatever fucking team is in Long Island. Yep. And the crowd was not buying it. The crowd was not digging it. Yeah, it's just me.
I know you were a video.
I need to record myself. Yeah, the crowd was giving Punk nothing, and Punk looked like he was flustered, and he just kept falling back on, oh yeah, well your hockey team sucks. And it was just like, that was without a doubt the worst Punk promo I've ever seen. So, later in the night, MJF comes out to her hero's welcome in the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal to defend his diamond ring. And it comes down to him, Ricky Starks, and what the hell's his name? Not Dwayne Martin. Dante Martin. There you go. Dante Martin and Ricky Starks on Team Taz. They're going to work together against MJF. Dante Martin throws Ricky Starks out, so now it's going to be Dante Martin and MJF next week, which should be a good match. And then Ricky Starks starts beating the shit out of Dante. MJF goes in the ring and helps Starks, which they cheer for it. And then Punk comes out and he gets booed. So, that's the match. Let's see. And that was really... That was honestly the only thing I really cared to watch on Dynamite. Didn't really care to watch anything else. Didn't see Daniel Bryan versus... Not Daniel Bryan, I keep calling him fucking Daniel Bryan. Bryan Danielson, there you go. Didn't see his match, didn't care. Shit. AEW drew an 8.72, which is a little up from last week, but they have not drawn 1 million since October 6th. They have been dipping in the ratings, and it's puzzling because this is the same show that had CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, MJF, and Adam Cole on the same show, and they still drew 8.72, and they have not been able to draw 1 million for 2 months? This is bad. I don't know what's happening, because is Punk the draw that we think he is? No. I mean, that's kind of self-evident, because when he was the champion for a year, he was not a draw. He was not drawing ratings. He was not drawing houses. I mean, he claims he was, but he really wasn't. Really wasn't. I mean, Bryan Danielson, I think, has been utilized a lot better than CM Punk. At least Bryan Danielson has a character change to him. He's not just happy-go-lucky Bryan Danielson anymore. He's kind of being a heel dick because he wants the AEW World Championship, and he wants to do it by any means necessary. CM Punk is falling on old tropes. It's like watching a tired act. And, his return since he returned back in August has just been meh. It has been meh. I don't care about his matches. I mean, he wants to keep having these competitive matches against talent to quote-unquote elevate him, which I think is laughable, because another thing in the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal, he wrestled Lee Moriarty on, last week? And the match was okay, But it's just, I don't give a fuck about Lee Moriarty. I don't. I mean, yeah, he's talented, but what's he going to do? What's he going to do with the company? Nothing. He's going to be a mid-carder, which is basically everybody on that fucking roster. They are mid-carders. So, and CM Punk needs to understand what mid-carders mean. CM Punk thinks too much like a wrestler. More like an indie wrestler. He thinks too much like an indie wrestler instead of an actual wrestler. You know what I mean? He wants to elevate, quote-unquote, these guys. And of all the guys that he wants to, quote-unquote, elevate, I thought Will Hobbs was the better choice because he actually looks like a fucking wrestler. And they've squandered that. He wanted to elevate, quote-unquote, Daniel Garcia. And not to shit on Daniel Garcia, I mean, he's good, but it's just... He's not really that interesting. Matt Sydal... They had that competitive match on Rampage. What do they do since... where has Matt Sydal been? On one of their YouTube shows? And Darby's Darby. He's one of their top guys. So he can lose 1,000 matches and it'll still be over. And then he wrestles Lee Moriarty, which people are hyping up. Which baffled me. Because I'm like, this is going to be another CM Punk match where it's overly competitive and it's not going to mean anything. And what happened in the beginning of this Battle Royal? Lee Moriarty is the first one to be eliminated. So there you go, people. That is your elevation. That is your elevated talent. I mean, it would have made more sense if Lee and MJF were the last two people, because you could have played upon the story of MJF is talking shit about Lee Moriarty on commentary. He's like, Lee's good, but how is he giving CM Punk a run for his money? Like, that's how you could have elevated him, quote unquote. So I really don't know. It's just, I'm not enjoying the Punk stuff. I really am. I'm really not. And the promos are starting to get annoying. Like, like him and MJF on the stick, I would have thought would have been, good shit to watch, but MJF is destroying Punk on the mic. Like, he's killing him. He is just destroying him, and Punk is just, I don't know what the fuck he's doing. Has he lost a step on the mic? Like, has he? Because it just seems like he's just falling back on old shit. And it's not working at all. And judging by last week, I think people are starting to see through it. I'm just saying. But, yeah, that was Dynamite. Do I even bother talking about Impact Wrestling? It drew 90,000, which is down from last week. Their last big rating was... do I even care what their last big fucking rating was? I'm just gonna be lazy. Their last big rating was... Come on. 221 viewers on December 8th, 2020. I think that was when Kenny Omega appeared, and after that, it just dipped even when he was on the fucking show. Just saying. So, those are the ratings. What else was I going to say? So, something I wanted to go over and just do a watch along with everybody. So, last night on Rampage was the debut of Hook, who is the son of Taz, who has kind of been hyped up a little bit, and he's been a background character. He'll just be there with like potato chips and offer somebody, some potato chips. So everybody's been hyping up the match. Everybody's been hyping up his debut. They said it was a great debut and that he looked great. And there's people I actually trust, like John Draper, who, and I don't even know why I said it like that. John Draper. He, praised it. He said he was good. Jeff Lipman didn't like it, but Jeff Lipman hates everything. He hates small wrestlers, and quite frankly, I am too. But I'm going to watch his debut. I'm going to do a live watch. I'm going to put it on right now. Let me fast forward through the bullshit. FTR and Luchas had a match. I imagine it was good. I don't watch Rampage, as you can obviously tell. Ruby, 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 Ruby sub, huh? So they gave Hook the main event. Okay.
I know what you're still.
Alright, it's a Matrix promo. I like you, Keanu, but I'm still not seeing that movie. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna mute it so I don't get fucked with on YouTube. So he's coming out to big music. He's got, what is it? Not Post Malone, but Action Bronson. I think that's when someone said. I never heard an Action Bronson song, so I have no clue. So he's coming out with anime hair. He's dressing like an MMA fighter. I guess like his dad. There's Diego, was it Del Sol or Fuego del Sol? So he's coming out to a big entrance. He's the main event. So obviously they think something of this kid. Alright, so here we go. He's Hook is wearing white shoes with tall socks, wrist tape, and fighter shorts. There's Fuego del Sol. He's on a 3-match winning streak, people. And Hook isn't even bother looking at his opponent. He's just staring off into space. So, alright, so now we got the match going. Hook not even taking his opponent seriously. He's supposed to be debuting. Alright. There's a lockup. Oh, he's got him in an armbar. Got a side headlock. Taking him down. Alright, that's impressive. I don't know much about Hook. I don't know much about his background. I think he was trained by Cody. Fuego's got a foot on the rope. So now Hook has got it though. Hook is getting in the referee's face. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Ref is showing him, I'm the ref, you're the wrestler. Fuego going for the roll up. And Hook kicked out. Takes him down, arm drag. Oh, so now he's got him in a submission. He's got him in a submission. Kind of like his dad. But like more of a modified version of it. Punching him right in the head. Yeah, Hook playing the role of cocky, arrogant prick heel. Yeah, crowd seems to like it. So, local New York boy, kind of like his dad. So, crowd loves him already. He's got a good opponent here in Fuego, so they both size up, rather well. Ooh, nice clothesline. He's trying to take his mask off. Ooh. Already getting heel-heat already. Well, maybe not heel-heat because no one really gives a shit about Fuego del Sol. Nice forearms. And he's going for another submission. Kind of like his dad. I don't think... Oh, Fuego taps out. So Hook in his debut gets a win. Doesn't even bother shaking hands with his opponents. Doesn't even bother getting his hand raised by the ref. He just walks out. Because fuck you, that's why. I mean, yeah, it wasn't a bad debut. It was a nice, impressive debut. I don't know anything about Hook, so I can't really judge his career off for one match. Well, I don't know. I need to look up more about Hook. So, all right, So Hook, because I read that he got his start in New York, which he's from, but all right, Hook. So here we go. Let's look it up. Hook. Yeah, I don't really see a lot about him. Like, what's his background? Yeah, I can't really find any information on him. I guess he's like brand damn new. I heard he trained with Cody. That's really all I heard about. But, I mean, not a bad debut. He's not terrible, but it's just, you know, I gotta point at the obvious. He's a small guy. I know Darby's small too. I mean, Darby's a star, but other than like, what can you do with him? Realistically, what can you do? I mean, he's a small guy. He's small and undersized. He's not terribly thin like Darby, but other than he had some good moves and he looked good in the ring and he has good cocky. He has a good cocky heel persona. What exactly is impressive about him? I mean, the guy, he's just another undersized guy in AEW. And that's AEW shtick. Because WWE sure isn't going to sign him. So, and I don't want to shit on the guy. He's good. From what I've seen, he's very good. But, again, I'm sorry, but I'm not wowed like everybody else is. I'm just not. Just not. So, but good for Hook. Good for Hook that he had a good debut. And, his dad was Taz. Taz was, we got to call a spade. Taz was good back in the day. Back in, back in the ECW days, Taz was the man. As far as any other news, there was an article that came out. Well, yeah, it was on NoDQ.com. The most played WWE theme songs of 2021 revealed. Number 5 was The Rising Sun by Shinsuke Nakamura. Talk to Me, remix for the Raw Tag Team Champions RK Bro, Visionary, Seth Rollins, No More Words, Jeff Hardy, which is kind of sad to think about right now, and Head of the Table, Roman Reigns. So, don't have a problem with either of those choices. I kind of want to talk about Hawkeye, but I know Jeff Littman's probably going to want to talk about it on Monday when we record From Our Lips to Your Ears, so I guess I'll keep it kind of brief. Episode 4 was really good. It was really good. Hawkeye started out really slow for me, but it's really picked up. It's picked up the action. If anyone saw episode 4, you know what I'm talking about. It's getting really good. We only have 2 episodes left. I kind of wish they timed the release better because next week's episode 5 and the week after is the last episode. I guess it's because the show is leading up to Christmas, because it's 6 episodes and 6 days till Christmas on the show, so maybe that's why they did what they did, because they want the Christmas episode to come out on Christmas week, so I guess that makes sense. And, next week's a big week for Marvel fans. Wednesday is episode 5 of Hawkeye, which is supposed to, blow our minds, apparently. And then Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man, No Way Home. It's going to be a big week if you're a Marvel fan. Can't wait. Already got my ticket. Going on Thursday. And it's going to be huge. It's going to be fucking huge. But I'll leave all that for the show. Anyways, guys, appreciate you for listening, downloading, showing some love. Go to the Patreon just for $5 a month. Support me and my friends, my boys, Jeff Littman, RJ, and Ruben. We all do our shows. If you know, you know. But show some love to me and my boys. It's the holidays, so be festive, be jolly, don't be a Grinch. And just shouts to everybody. Shouts to everybody that shows love to the show. Wrestling Soup, Kevin Castle, Trez, Baseball Chickie, Wrestling Court, False Count Radio, Jeff Littman, of course, Hammerlock Hangover, Garden of Doom, whatnot, RJ the Brooklyn Savage, Brother Monty, who also just started his own Patreon, so show some love to them. Ruben Prime, of course, my boy. Let's see. The Break the Apocalypse Boys, Draper. Bisho Brian Shaheen. They just had a new episode that came out, so look that up. It's free on Spreaker, but if you want to listen to the whole episode, you have to sign up for their Patreon for just $5 a month. And what else am I missing? Yeah, shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody that has a podcast. Show some love. Shout out to everybody that shows me love. So, anyways, guys, take care. I will see you next week. Oh, I don't know why I forgot about this. Tonight is the final showing of Ring of Honor. Their final big event, which is called Final Battle, I believe. And it's going to be a big show. I mean, Tony Khan even said that he's going to send some AEW guys to help him. So, I mean, I don't watch Ring of Honor, so I don't really know the card. I don't really know anybody that's on the card. So, but if anyone's going to watch, enjoy it. If anyone's a big Ring of Honor fan, enjoy it, support them. I mean, hopefully those guys can find work. I'm pretty sure they will. Jay Lethal already found work. The Briscoes look like they'll just be happy doing anything. So, but anyways, guys, take care, have fun, be safe, happy holidays, and peace.